in here, we're not supposed to lie to each other. We're supposed to be able to be honest with each other. What we think, what we feel, what we need, we're supposed to be able to do it because this is supposed to be family. This is supposed to be real live family, building, loving family. So lies shouldn't be a factor in there. Lies corrupt. Righteously enraged. This is an inherent right. We have collected rage over seemingly countless generations. 2,000 years worth of anger passed on from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next. Cumulative, added up. And now it's like this rage has gotten so much that folks are breaking, so they're either falling for someone else's idea or trying to forget it and finding a way to suppress it to the degree that they appear sane, or they're acting on it. The gray area is disappearing where you can sort of sit in the middle and be a little angry sometimes and be a little happy the other time. That gray area is disappearing very, very rapidly. We have every right to be enraged, but it's got to be righteous. We can't just be angry just to be angry. It has to be focused. We have to know why we're angry. What's the quote I have on the side of the bookcase, y'all, from Euclid Armor?
Just like without knowledge, it's not firm.
Just like without knowledge, it's not firm. We have to know. Okay? Whitey. 2 seconds later, hugging. Because you have no idea what you're upset about. You have no idea why you're angry. And we have every right to be angry. Let me see. Let me not get angry with somebody raping my mom. Let me not get upset with somebody lynching my grandfather. Let me walk around with a smile and pretend that that's something that I'm not supposed to be upset about and find ways to make that okay. We have every right to be angry, and no one should be sitting there telling me or anybody else, oh, you're so angry, because you don't get it if you're saying that. You absolutely do not get it. Resilient. This is one of my most favorite words, period. Resilience. I love that word. And the main reason I love it is because I think this is one of the premier qualities of African people. To get knocked down and get back up, knocked down, get back up, knocked down, get back up, knocked down, get back up. People say we should not be here. We should be dead. No other people has gone through what we have gone. Sure, those folks have been enslaved temporarily. Those folks have been enslaved temporarily. Those folks have been enslaved temporarily. Those folks might have got hurt in this. We have been under assault from every people on this planet in an attempt to remove us from existence. There is nothing that you can call out that has not happened to us. Nothing. Excuse me, that is not happening to us. We're not talking about the past here. This is going on now. But we survive. And not only do we survive, we thrive. We build. We have visions. We have not been broken. We're through when we're broken. That's been the primary goal of other people, particularly Europeans, to break us. To break African women from their babies, to break African men from that warrior spirit. And a number of years ago, this brother said to me, crack is a success for them. It's the first time they found where they've been able to separate African women from their children. So they've been trying all kinds of stuff, but crack is the thing. And now with the supermax prisons, where every cell is solitary confinement, 23 hours and then 1 hour by yourself to walk around. within a confined space. They're trying to break the spirit of black men, and some of them they do. Sanika Shakur, who's the author of the book Monster, he was in solitary confinement for 7 years. And when he got out, he said he had to learn how to talk to people again. We are a communal people. We talk to each other. So you're breaking us from our spirit. When you break a person's spirit, you're through. You're through. So that's the primary goal for them, to break that spirit. Then you don't have to worry about this power of African people, this resilience, this ability to stand. I don't care what has been done to me. I don't care if you broke both of my legs. I'm crawling towards you with a spear in my hand on my knees. You're not going to put me down until you completely put me down. And then according to the African proverb, someone's going to pick up that spear and carry it forward. This, I think, is our greatest quality ever. And this is why when people talk to me and they say, oh, you said look around and you see all of this chaos and all these black folks are lost and blah, blah, blah. Isn't that a sign that we have lost? No. If there's one of us, if there's just one of us, it's not over. It's not over. Of course, also a point that people need to bear in mind in terms of, oh, well, then I can sort of chill because I know this stuff and we can move forward. I said earlier, there's nothing in the universe that I'm aware of that says African people cannot be re-enslaved. I'm not aware of that. And if someone was outside and the clouds opened up and this great big booming voice told you that, then let me know. Because I'm not aware of that. We are at war. We're not peace, we're at war. For the survival and sanity of African people.
Peace and Black Power, family. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge Born with the Science After Midnight Edition. And we are here to talk about this recent film that was released on Netflix, The Five Bloods. And going to have a conversation with our warrior soul sister. And we're going to look at this film. So without any further ado, comes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some of the others. The reason for the season, Sass, aka the One, in the building.
Shalom.
Shalom, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Having some computer issues. And hopefully you can hear me okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Okay. All right, that's good. I'm surprised by that. It's been really frustrating for me. But anyway, how are you?
I'm good. Righteous Rage in the building. I should just change my name because I'm the definition of righteous rage.
I like that that teaching you just played. It's just another. It makes me feel better. You know, every time I hear that same type of speech from different people, it means that I'm not alone in my thinking, and that is totally rational. So, I want to applaud that brother because that was awesome.
Yeah, that's the author of these books. Our Jenga living ancestor, Dr. Baba and Wali Kebomani Baruti. So when y'all hear me reading from this sacred text right here, or many of these other texts that I keep on hand from that divine mind and that divine family, y'all saw his wife recently with Dr. Ma'at, uh, Mama Iniyah Baruti, was speaking about African centered education and the space and place that occupies the African mind. So approaching the African mind and the resurgence of the African mind takes place from the nucleus of the African mind, which would be the center, in the center and the focus of your people's prosperity, your people's success, and your people's liberation approaches from that galactic center of the African mind. So we're looking for the resurgence and the resurgence from all that are involved, that are willing, that are able, and that are capable of the ability to exercise these other enemy minds from outside of our mind and that resurgence of the African insurrection spirit to do what's necessary and to continue to sustain the war effort for us to be victorious and for this cycle to break and no longer repeat. So definitely always good to hear from our warriors. I don't roll with no elder chumps or no older chumps, no chump peer group, and no chump youth. So anyone here that's here on a consistent basis or that we in direct communication and collaboration with share those ideals. None of that mealy mouth, tiptoeing, limp wrist speech.
African centered education isn't really taught anywhere um, in Western civilization. So I know people try to claim that it is, but it isn't. And
In Western civilization, it's the opposite.
right,
Why
and
would it be? Yeah, it's a violation of the law. You see what I'm saying? Because this Western family institution, this family business, benefits and profits off the degradation and devastation and exploitation of Africa. And all of its descendants, whether on the continent or throughout the diaspora. So it's all there together.
right, and they have reasons for it. And we know that their way of teaching, African education and the ancient Near East um, education is different from what we teach. And and it seems to affect our people a lot because the way they teach it, it gets all the views, all of it. It's weird. And
Hmm.
you only get a small part of the population, the Black community, that will deal with the truth about African and ancient Near East education. It's really a shame. It's really a shame that they would go with the European um, narrative on what Africa looked like before they invaded it. Um, so maybe we can get into that some other time, but it's an eye opener. Western civilization does not teach African or ancient Near East, and I say ancient Near East because Egypt is included in that, and we know everyone's quick to say that Egypt is a part of Africa, right? If you look at the map, right, and going by how the continents are set up, we have to include it. So when I'm talking about the ancient Near East, I'm not talking about white people, and I'm not talking about Arabs either. I'm talking about the truth of the history. So that's what I wanted to say on that. But um, this movie that we're going to talk about, I wanted to talk about it, or I asked Knowledge about, if he saw it, and he said no. So he went and he watched it, and he told me what he thought about it, and I was interested in why he thought the way he did, because it's something that piques my interest. It's a war type of movie. It's specifically dealing with Vietnam, so that's what we're here for, right?
That's right.
So um, I will say this first before you go, because I want you to go first, because I'm interested in what you think about it. Because I know it's directed by Spike Lee, but it's not a Spike Lee joint. So I mean, you have to um,
Off the
kind
rip, off the rip, off the rip. I didn't even know who directed this movie, but it felt like it.
it
And then
felt
I
like
found
it.
out it
Okay.
felt, yes. Yeah, he got certain signature patterns about him,
Hmm.
the way he does
Right.
movies.
Right. Hmm.
And I was like, oh, the shit just, and then it was certain stuff that was said, and I was yeah,
Yeah, he's your
yeah,
resident black movie agent. So that's who they call on when they
right,
when they need to project all lives matter. So I'll just
right,
leave it leave it at that. Um,
Black Klansman.
right, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. It's not a Spike Lee joint. It was directed by him. I was really confused about this movie. Actually, it's called, what's it called? The Five Bloods.
Mm.
And of course, when you hear the origin of calling each other blood, um, I mean, it should be self-explanatory why um, we use that term. We still use it.
Mhm.
To for our brothers and sisters, we do. It's self-explanatory. But anyway, I want to know what you thought, like overall. Like, don't give me any details. Just overall, what did you think?
I
Was
mean, I
it?
gave you the detail. It was okay.
It was okay. That's what he told
Yeah.
me. And
And
I'm
and it was a struggle to say that it was okay because of all of the independent conversations, like shit that didn't make no sense, you know. And as an army person, I'm an army person. You know, you're a marine. You see what I'm saying? Like as an army person, especially with that bloody patch that was on that big red one, that in that place outside of that first cavalry division patch that I wear, you know, that was something that I was looking to see better of. Then when I found out who directed the movie, I could see why it wasn't better. You see what I'm saying? Like you, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So the movie starts off with I didn't make any notes or anything. I just watched it because I knew it was going
Yeah.
to be some foolery when it first started. So um, so it started off telling you about how bad the United States of America is, and it showed you a lot of graphic images coming out of Vietnam. Well, I mean, they weren't that graphic. I've seen worse, right? So
Mm.
I think the average person would think it was that bad because they showed people getting shot at gunpoint, like execution style on the street. It showed
Yeah.
babies uh, killed. It showed people on fire. A lot of kids. It showed a lot
Mm-hmm.
of kids, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
it also showed some instances of the civil rights movement. So it was telling the story at how Vietnam was going on at the same time as the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
And it also showed you the communications from Viet Cong, right? To the black people on the ground in their country, right? Like telling them, asking them, like, why are you here? You shouldn't be here. There's atrocities for you people at home. You need it back there. You should leave. Why are you here? It brought out a statistic that I had never seen before. For some reason, I don't know if it's true or not. I need to go back and look, because we also need to realize that when we take in information that we didn't research ourselves, we need to go and research it for ourselves. You take
Yeah.
everything that you hear and read as a grain of salt. You can't listen to people. People get online and start talking a lot of stuff and start pulling at your heartstrings and start, giving you some feel good stuff, right? And this is across the board. And I know that, being in Israel, we're accused of doing that, but it's across the board when it comes to black people. Seriously, you find it in every single, I guess, what do you call it? A school of thought. So you got to be careful with who you're listening to and get the information. So it said that black people make up 13% of the population of the United States, but they made up 32% of the soldiers and the Marines, military, all of them, in the Vietnam War. So it was more or less over there than the white man. So
No, it was saying that presence, 32% of us. It was 32% over there. You see what I'm saying? That's still 68% was them.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like, how come we're serving more? It was saying our population
Right.
is this over here, but we're serving more over there. Why is that? So we're being sent to do their dirty work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it showed you that South Vietnam, I don't know if it was, let me see, Viet Cong is in the south, right? And then you have the Viets that's in the north. So there was something going on between the two. I couldn't really get that from the movie, but they don't teach that in history, and I know that for sure.
It was civil war that was
Right.
going on.
Right. So they don't teach that.
The American, there was so many places that came. Japan came, all kind of people came over there to Vietnam trying to rape and pillage and all of that. And everybody got their ass busted. You understand what I'm saying? Like they came over there. And America was the last fighting force to come over there. Literally the last, like it was stuff in Cambodia, it was stuff in Laos, all of that, the military history of it. And then it creeps into Vietnam. You see what I'm saying? So, just like with Somalia, and there's so many parallels there.
A lot of civil wars,
crazy.
right?
You see what I'm saying?
To this day,
incidentally,
talk about.
Yeah. Incidentally, America's not in Vietnam or Somalia.
Right. Look, let me tell you something about Somalia. Let me just interject that into here real quick. Talk about civil war. There's civil wars that the United States of America babysits just to make sure they don't go tearing everything up, and that's truth. Okay.
After they incite them,
right, right.
The
But
Vietnam War conflict was over opium, heroin, and rubber for Goodyear tires.
Right. So, but there are still wars that are happening that have continued to happen. So I will say that yes, it was started by all of these things were started by Europeans for real, because everybody understood where their place was. So nobody was invading or stepping into other people's turf, with their laws. They stayed within their own borders, and dealt that way. But when the European came, it's caused so much confusion, because that's exactly what it is, confusion. And then these things last for centuries and centuries. And this is why you have United States flag everywhere. So if you look at the military map, you will see, and they don't hide this from you, Department of Defense, you go look it up. There's flags everywhere, all over the world, and there's a reason for it. And this is not just embassies, this is military bases. And also in the water, so you can also see it in the water. What they do is they keep an eye out to make sure the resources are not destroyed. So the people fighting, but as long as the resources are not destroyed. Now, this movie was odd because after they showed all of that, it showed them in Ho Chi Minh, right? That's where it started out as these 4 guys. One was missing because apparently he died, and that was T'Challa, right? The guy from Black Panther, right? He played that guy who died or whatever. It was 5 of them. So one was I think 2 was infantry. I think 1 was a medic, 1 was a navigator. I don't know what the fifth one was. Was he infantry too? I don't know. But
he was their squad leader.
He was a squad. Okay, so squad leader for infantry, 2 for infantry, and 1 medic and 1 navigator. Right. So yeah. So they were sent into the jungle. But apparently they understood that they figured out somehow that the gold that was paid by the United States government to it wasn't the VC, right? It was supposed to make it to North Vietnam, right? But the helicopter was shot down, right? Before it got to, so it landed in South Vietnam, right? I'm just trying to figure it out. So this money was to be paid to the North Viets, right? And it was the gold by they didn't want money, they wanted gold, so they were paid by gold standard, right? That's what they wanted. See, they're smart, okay, over there. Okay, just they don't want no paper, they don't want any promises, they don't want to sign any papers, just give me, the money or whatever. So they went in to get this money, gold. I don't know how they knew that was there, but the whole I guess Norm, the guy, the squad leader, he was there, and what he said was that this money could help the Black community. This could help, in our liberation. He was speaking like a Black Panther. He was speaking like a true warrior. He's over there in that country, and I think he started talking like that after he found out that MLK died. I think that's what it was. And he heard about the unrest or whatever that was happening over here. So he said this goal can help for our liberation. It can whatever, right? So we're not over here in vain doing nothing. This could help our people, right? So he got killed. They ended up having to bury the gold. Why? Because they didn't know how to move that. The mastermind was killed, so they left it there. And they showed them going to Ho Chi Minh, and they needed to go find this gold to retrieve it, saying that they were going to go retrieve the bones of their dead friend. But a lot of stuff came with that. I heard the words. When they went back to Vietnam, they were called GIs. I don't know how they knew they were GIs. I guess you don't see too many Black people in Vietnam, I guess. But they called them GIs. Remember the part with the firecrackers?
Right.
The boy threw the firecrackers. They all hit the deck. It was funny. That was funny. You shouldn't do that.
Quick.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that to us, right?
It wasn't even a thought. Boom, automatic.
Everybody hit it quick. I had to laugh at that.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's little
gosh.
nuances. Is the reason why I said that the movie was okay. Like little stuff like that. Like okay, you see what I'm saying? Like yeah, that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real thing. That's how I know. Like there was a little consultation at least going on with that. Like
Right.
so yeah.
And just like the brother in infantry, he had good hearing. Even though he hadn't been there for decades, he understood how the jungle worked. Like he understood it, and he was on his P's and Q's, and he moved fast, and he was the one in charge of keeping everybody safe, basically. Um, so I thought that was cool, or whatever. The setting for the place was a little bit off because that didn't look like a jungle to me. But I mean, what can you do, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, they had to do it. They had to work with what they had to work with. But they were also, it was a lot of agitators, a lot of Vietnamese agitating them because they knew who they were, and they had and though though there's Vietnamese who don't blame Black Americans for this thing, there were some that did. That's what the movie showed, and they were accused of killing their mothers and fathers. Um, and that caused some friction inside the movie too. Um, they called them. They mentioned that they were called when they came home from Vietnam that they were called baby killers and this and that and
Hmm.
this and that and the third or whatever. I like
Yeah.
that they showed the female Vietnamese military. She was in the military. She was bad. They showed that, and I'm glad that they showed that because that's a woman. Okay, and back
The
in
one with the rocket launcher.
yes, yes, and then she came up. She was able to breach them in the abandoned helicopter without them knowing, and it caused a problem. The squad leader got killed that way because she came up that way. So that was back in the 1960s. Okay, that was a female, and they had plenty of females. All right, um, they had plenty of females in there, in infantry, but they also had the prostitutes as well because they showed that part where he one of the guys he goes back to visit the woman he was dealing with in Vietnam, and she said that they were called uh, what was it derogatory? What was it called? I can't remember what she said. We get called so many bad names. I don't even remember, whatever. But basically, um, they were it was so bad to get pregnant by a Black person over there. You can't do anything for anybody. So she couldn't get a job anywhere because she had a Black child, or what they would call a Black child. I was call it a mixie child. They said you're not even. She said I wasn't even good enough to clean a toilet. Okay, so that right there just gives me an indication that this is something that we need to deal with. And not to go off topic, there's a meme going around that says 53 years ago, the law for interracial marriage was passed, and when you go back 53 years ago, you go to 1967. That's when the Vietnam War was happening. Yeah. And that was a year before Dr. King died, right? Yeah. So it's a part of the integration effort that destroyed the Black community, right? Because we
Hmm.
know that around the world, the interracial mess don't work. It just doesn't work. It's not accepted. It's just not a natural thing. It's just not. And people will say, oh, that's heartless. That's this, that's that. But there's an agenda behind it. And, um, and that's why I say that Americans live in people who are born and raised, I guess. No, let me say that again. No, let me change that because immigrants that come over here understand that. But it seemed like the homeborn ones, the ones that have been here for centuries, right, don't know any better. So that just goes to show you as well. So she made that clear. So she said she never told her who her father was because it was a disgrace. But you can clearly see that she was mixed with something, right?
Mm.
So yeah, so they showed that thing. So a lot. So it's kind of like a negative thing. The black soldiers, military was sleeping around with Vietnamese women, having babies, and leaving them with children over there. So that was a stab at the military, black, black military. So that, I mean, that was a fact, but oh, Spike Lee, right? So they find the money, right? And then they'd say, two of the guys are saying, Norm said we're going to give this to our people. The others were like, no, we're going to keep it for ourselves. This is our, you take your share, give it to the black community. That wasn't the focus of the goal. That was the whole reason to even go into, getting these gold bars, was to then, get it and then give it to, distribute it to the black community, right? That's what the whole point was. After that, I just got lost after that in the film. Like after that, it got weird because it seemed like they got into a whole war again. Like when I first started watching the movie, I'm like, why would they even go back to Vietnam? Like I would never touch the soil again. Like why would they do that? That was my question. But after they got the gold, I don't even understand what happened. They were doing stupid things. They went to this white man to help them move the gold. They went to the Vietnamese woman he had a baby with to try to facilitate that. And then you got these white people sitting in there in an organization talking about they moving mines and this and that, or whatever, mines and bombs from out of the jungle. And yeah, I mean, and they happen to be following them. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, and then you have the young brother. Yeah, look, you have the young brother.
Yeah.
He's married, right? But then he's fraternizing with this French woman. I'm like, what is this? Like, I'm like, oh my God. And the only one who had sense in his head was the one who they said had PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned later that the VA told him he had lymphoma because of Agent Orange, right? So he's the only one. The crazy one. Okay, because I was with him. I was with him from the beginning. Like, like, why are these people staring at me? Like, he noticed that the Viet's in the bar staring at him. Like, what? He's not paranoid. He's like, why are these? There's some beef here. There's a problem here. Then you go to this white man. He had to go check this white man. Like, why are we even involved in them? You stupid for dealing with this Vietnamese woman over here. She's going to betray you. These white boys and this white woman, he saw the white woman trying to get with his son, so he had to interject because he was just falling into, like, look, I was lost after that. After they got the gold, I was just lost. So what do you think
Leave
about
it
that?
to Spike Lee. Leave it to Spike Lee.
Oh my
to
God.
always show you how to do the wrong thing. You say, "Oh no, that movie was not." But look, he's still showing you in 2020, from '89 to 2020.
Oh my God. But he did show you.
Crazy.
But he did show you that black people are still gullible.
From '89 to 2020, he's still showing you how to do the wrong thing.
I'm like, I don't know. So it went south from there. So I gave up after that. Uh-oh. He's freezing up again.
They were sitting with the guy who is the French guy
Right.
that played the assassin in The Professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's just interesting, like certain stuff that went on, like the whole action sequence with the helicopter. What was it? 47. It looked like a UH that going down.
you going in and out. Say that again.
the rocket launcher hitting the tail end, like it was just strange.
Yeah, it was strange because
Like
she had a
certain
clear
little
shot.
stuff was strange.
Yeah.
Like the dude was just sitting on. Let me leave and come back.
Okay. All right. Well, he's talking about the part where the girl, the Vietnamese soldiers, the female, she went and shot the rocket launcher into the helicopter and it hit the tail. Which in that movie, it was open season. There was no trees. There was nothing blocking her vision. It was just it was a clear shot. It should have blew up the whole entire helicopter. So yeah, the logistics of the scene was just off. But it's just the movie. It was actually a fast movie that they made. We do see um,
Can you hear
the
me?
now I can. So I was talking about the helicopter and how it would, they didn't have that scene correct, but
Yeah, it was that was real strange.
mhm,
Like it's supposed to look like a good action sequence.
right,
You're on a you don't have a K pot. You don't have nothing. You see what I'm saying?
right,
Like you just there chilling on the part where you can fall out that fucking helicopter with the maneuver. They all should have fell out the fucking
right,
helicopter, but
right.
every they it's like Rambo in 2020 and shit. You see what I'm
Uh-huh,
saying? They have these M16s, right?
right.
These M16s held 20 rounds. They had semi-automatic and auto, and they were on auto. Nobody's reloading. They're shooting from the helicopter and hitting people. and, and the door gunner with this automatic machine gun gets killed.
Right, right.
You
He
know
was
what I
the
mean?
first. He was the first. He was the first to
Like
go.
he just gets slumped. Like he's done it.
Right.
Like he's done. He's done.
Yep. He was the
I'm
first to
like,
go. Yep.
I mean, it was great. It was good to see. You see what I'm saying? Kraken needed to die anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the best part. One of the best parts of the movie, and it was true to the stories and the interactions between black people and the Vietnamese. They said they knew when black people were shooting versus white people, they could stand up, and they only 5 feet, most of them.
Right.
Black people were shooting, they had to duck. So you seen them headshots going around and cats getting laid down. You know, it would take more than one bullet to stop a VC zone.
Right.
Like all of it was kind of like I guess they just threw that in there just to kind of introduce who he was or whatever. You see what I'm saying? That kind of courage he had under fire, moving under direct fire. You didn't see him running in a straight line. You saw him moving under
Yeah.
direct fire in a way that you're supposed to. So I'm like, okay, everybody, like all of this battle sequences in my head, like, oh yeah, this. So those things that they pay, like even though the shit was crazy, look retarded as hell, like there was small on actions on contact that it was an actual objective. You know what I'm saying? Cover fire, moving to the next position, boom, moving under direct fire, taking cover, all that kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit was ingrained. That shit looked natural. That shit looked like, it was what it was, and that's how you move. You see what I'm saying? Like that, the whole communication piece, everybody, boom, 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 boom. You see what I'm saying? Him directing traffic, but him not sitting back, him in the shit. Though. You see what I'm saying? Like in the shit all the way. Like I loved it. You see what I'm saying? Like that kind of continuity. And this is what made them blood brothers. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Combat.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like all the way, like even with him dying and them reconvening, like these are some of the key points that was like, that was good. You see what I'm saying? Like they came back, for his honor and to do his wishes.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And to do his wishes like we would do. Like there's the backstory. Oh, okay, they're trying to go get the gold, but why were they going to get the gold? Because they didn't even want to get the fucking gold.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so that whole situation, and it showed you that gold did not depreciate, but it appreciated in value
That's right.
over time. So this and the mind job. Look at the mind job that he had to deal with their psychology. The mind job is there. You getting killed, you getting your ass shot up, blown up, Agent Orange from your own people, all this other shit. They were killing us in Vietnam, like they were killing us in Korea, like they were killing us in World War I and World War II, like they're killing us now, fratricidally. You know, you got to fight 2 fights. A cracker trying to kill you on, supposed to be on your side, you understand? And you got an open enemy on the other side. You see what I'm saying? Plenty of instances. I was even watching that weird ass movie, Get on the Bus. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker in the Marines and shit. He said he was in war and he took a bullet. You see what I'm saying? Like from one of them crackers that shot him. You see what I'm saying? Like it was just all these weird ass undertones that Spike Lee always put in the movie for no fucking reason at all. So it's just all of those elements that was there. So to honor his legacy and his memory, they're moving and they were going to get his remains as well. You see what I'm saying? Like that is a old and a testament to what we did. This is why you have a Memorial Day. You understand what I'm saying? We come back for our people. You see what I'm saying? We come back for our people. We come back for our dead. That's our relationship. Like the life isn't over. You see what I'm saying? When, you know, you depart from physical sight. You see? So like all of these things that were intertwined in there, it shows a lot. And they named some people from real life. They was like, the crazy dude with all of the Trump shit and all that shit was kind of like unnecessary banter that they put in there for no reason. You see what I'm saying? But to show you like some other kind of shit. But he started naming people that was from real life. You see what I'm saying? Like the young brother who jumped on a grenade and it was like, I love y'all, but I ain't doing that shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like these were real life, our people. You see what I'm saying? Like there were real Panthers that was out there that was getting busy. And there wasn't nobody fucking with them. You see what I'm saying? And that all black brigade that went out there, it wasn't nobody that was fucking with them. You know, the Tuskegee Airmen and all that. You know, there's a rich history in regards to, you know, us in combat. You know, whether this shit was for this country or not. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a rich military history and that shows you a presence because many of those vets that came back started the organizations to help defend the communities. You see what I'm saying? So these are the people that were defending the Black Wall Streets. These are the people that was in the Deacons for Defense and Justice. These were the people that were in all of these places. A lot of them were vets. You see what I'm saying? So any military outfit that came as a defense element for our people, a lot of the vets were involved. You see what I'm saying? So these black vets, like you seen their presidents, you understand what I'm saying? She told Anthony, like, yo, some vets from the war, they joined up. You see what I'm saying? So this is making reference to people like Geronimo Pratt and, you know, many of the other people. What I did not like is there was no mention of Robert F. Williams. If this was supposed to be spooked in his shit, you have a real person who was really on the radio, like she really lived and died. Hanoi Hannah, the one that was on the radio.
Right. Yes.
That was a real person.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That was a real person that lived and died.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of those people that was influenced along with Ho Chi Minh, you know, by the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and then Robert F. Williams. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So if you had a chance to tell the story, even if you said it in passing, something, you see what I'm saying? Something, because you took the time to put all this other bullshit in there. You see what I'm saying? You took all that time to put all of the other bullshit in there. And we close to 4th of July. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so all this little mixed propaganda shit that's in there, if you was trying to do it right, you could have did it right a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So
but they had to show that this guy was crazy. So they started off with him saying, you know, put that wall up. I say put the damn wall up too. So, and I said for many reasons.
Hey, he was getting busy.
Right.
get busy with that. They ain't want to hear that shit.
He rocking a whole MAGA hat. That was a little bit too far, but I agree with that wall. The wall is symbolic. It's not that is going to keep people out. But anywho, they wanted to make him seem like he was crazy, that he was kind of like betraying his people in a way. So when he got over to Vietnam, he was bugging out over there. That's what they wanted to show, that he was so-called bugging out. It did show that he was influenced by the Bible. It showed it. He disowned his own son in the jungle. So it wanted to make him seem crazy without explaining anything. So none of that was explained. I understand it completely. I watched it. I understood it completely. But Spike Lee or whoever wrote it didn't go in too far with that whole thing. It also mentioned that the white GIs, just to go back to what you were saying about why they didn't mention Robert F. Williams. We know why. We know why they didn't do that. They can't do that because then it connects him with other people, and then it goes back into time. So they really can't do that, I guess, for mainstream TV. They don't want people to know. But just to speak on the black.
But this is Spook Lee. Look, I just want you to keep that point. But I want to say this because there was a conflict that was between Eddie Murphy and Spook Lee. Why they never worked together? You see what I'm saying? Like Eddie Murphy said, I'm for my people. And I'm for them in this kind of way. I know exactly who I am. There's no confusion about that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I deal with black consciousness, but I'm not in everybody's face with it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not in everybody's face with it. Like he really just told, Spike Lee, like he said, I admire you for what you do, but that's not what I do. You see what I'm saying? Like he said it in a diplomatic kind of way, but he said, I can't go tell these people shit. You see what I'm saying? Like you telling me that I could go tell somebody something because I make, them this much money. Like I can't make no demands. He said, I tried that shit. It don't work. You see what I'm saying? Like, so he said, I help my people and how I can. You see what I'm saying? So you see, how he did that and some of the things that he did. And on the contrary, the one who's supposed to be so outspoken and so militant, you see this other shit that he did. You see what I'm saying? As well. So like this, this was another prime example of the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? The conflict to try to make it look like something that it's not. So he could have done this and he chose not to. The same way he was talking about Eddie, saying that he you chose to do this. You could have did this, but you chose not to. You chose not to. You see what I'm saying? If it was some cracker director that ain't want to do that, blah, 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 some fucking Jew or whoever, you understand what I'm saying? That would be one thing. But if this is supposed to be your thing with your people, you don't mind exploiting and making money and all this other shit. But when it really come down to it, you ain't on that shit either. You see what I'm saying? You ain't never been on it, So I don't give a fuck about any of that shit he talking about. But yeah, I didn't want to interrupt your point, but it was just right there that there, and I apologize too for just thrusting in like that but that was something that needed to be said right then because of the parallel. They got Coming to America too. Like he said that was one of the things that he said, not Coming to America too, but he said he made a black movie with 99% all black people in it. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't have to say, ruling. You see what I'm saying? Ruling. They face on the money. Like John Amos said, when I say he's got his own money, baby, he's got his own money. You know what I'm saying?
He's on the money. Yeah.
The kind of reverence and care and that was taken to what we saw. You see what I'm saying? We saw Zamunda way before we seen Wakanda. You understand what I'm saying?
Wakanda for never. Yeah.
For never. You understand?
Yeah.
So in a royal kind of mind frame. You see what I'm saying? Like Michael Jackson came with Remember the Time. Eddie Murphy next to Michael Jackson and said this was the greatest short film he ever seen in his life. Right. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to for people who not in that. Don't try to pretend. You see what I'm saying? Like you ain't gotta pretend. Like nigga, you make girl 6 and she gotta have it and all this other nut ass shit you talking. Are you gonna tell Eddie Murphy what he supposed to be doing? Like, what are you doing with what you're doing? You see what I'm saying? How many black women did you exploitate and X out and disrespect in them films that you made? You see what I'm saying? Like crazy. You know? Like Eddie had to do his own characters and he there with his daughter and like all kind of like all of the stuff that he did socially conscious when you look at it and the people that he put on and inspired a whole crop of black people who come after him that got on the stage and told jokes. Who really did it? Who fake it? Who gave you an X hat that he ain't make? You understand what I'm saying? Like this shit was stupid. So like when you really peel back the layers and shit, you don't believe the hype. Like you know what I'm saying? Can't trust it. Like public enemies. Like public enemies. They can't trust it. Yeah, can't trust. Yeah, trust. Can't trust it. You see what I'm saying? Like that shit ain't no different than O'Shea coming out now. He black again.
Man,
like, you just you just welcome people back to the party. They go be and do whatever and be with whoever, and then they come back to you.
He been blacking out lately. I'm like, what? He better cut it out before he gets.
He didn't black out sitting with Bill Mayer. He could have done that then. He didn't do it.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah, you got handed your death certificate.
Bill Maher.
Yeah, whatever the fuck his name is.
They don't. Let me see. The only person that got on who blacked out was Paul Mooney, I believe. That's the only black person I know.
And he was going to do it.
On Bill Maher, yeah, that's the
You know he was going to do it. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So like that's that kind of shit is the little part of the whole thing that you know what I'm saying? Like that was like the car wash. Like Spike Lee. They had Spike Lee like Abdul. Like what's my man name? Bill Duke, who played Abdul in the car wash in that movie.
Yes,
The Car Wash.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Richard Pryor coming there with the Pointer Sisters and shit. You know.
Bill Duke still alive. Yeah.
Bill Duke still kicking it. Okay.
Yep, still.
Yeah. So yeah. My bad. Your point. You had a bomb ass point.
What was my point? Oh, it was an interjection. It was an interjection about when you mentioned the black military and the history there. The movie mentioned that white GIs was talking ish about black GIs, right?
Right.
And I just wanted to touch on that for a moment. So when I say USMC strong and I support the military, that is black military. And I'm very clear about that because there's a divide. Okay, there is. It is. I know that in the new military vlogs, because it's just odd to me how the military is allowing people in the military to vlog on YouTube. It's weird to me. And they're showing these weird type of relationships, black and white Marines together in harmony. They're friends, they're boys, they're this and that, but they're not showing you the whole picture of what it's like.
Shit is weird.
Right. It's very
That's
weird.
A serious psychological mind job right there.
So it's telling
we both was in. We know like
yes.
What?
Right. So I'm looking at it like, well, I'm like, I mean, well, maybe it's their age. It can't be their age because, I was at that age. So I'm like, I don't understand. Are they picking people to do this? Because this wouldn't have been allowed back then, right? So we will tell you that there is racism in the United States military. It just is. And there is a blood brotherhoods and sisterhoods within. There are, and for the majority of black people, and I'm not talking about mixies, I'm not talking about people of color, any of them. I'm talking people who identify as black. There is a strong sisterhood and brotherhood in there. And when I say I support the military, that's what I'm talking about. So that is that. So this movie showed you a tiny piece of what was going on in Vietnam between black and white GIs. So when, and I was just telling you that they were killing us in Vietnam, they were killing us in Vietnam. All right, white GIs. So that is a
And
fact.
and Desert Storm. Let's
And
just
Desert
keep
Storm,
on
all
moving.
of,
Yeah,
yes,
right. You know,
yes,
like all the way up to present day, right now.
right. The Iraq War too. You don't how
Yeah,
many times
nothing changed. Nothing changed. Like even
I,
with the supposed to be that fake ass word civil unrest going on, really civil
right,
war again that's going on. There's no expense paid. Like they like you can't teach you can't what is that you're not born with hatred. I'll be goddamn. You understand what I'm saying? I'll be goddamn. Like these children are these little offsprings, these little demons that's running around, younger and younger, younger and younger, more vocal. Like nothing
right.
happened, no matter what none of this shit means, no matter how many signs you put in their fucking face.
Hmm.
If you even put a bullet in their goddamn head, that's the only way they'll get it. I'm gonna show them a sign. They're gonna show you a rifle. You show them signs. You go out there, you look, you see them people with them signs, and you see them other motherfuckers them with them rifles.
Right,
You understand? They out there
right.
with them rifles. You see
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like this is like open season.
Hmm.
They got that video floating around. That cracker said if he get a tweet from Trump, it's on,
It's
and you'll
on
be
and popping.
eliminated in a couple hours. Like that should show you like the allegiance that's there. You see what I'm saying? Like that allegiance. Like this flag is theirs. I don't give a fuck if you burn the Confederate flag or the regular flag. It's all the same goddamn flag because it represents the same goddamn people. And I say goddamn, and I mean goddamn them all to hell where they come from. You understand what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit. Like you don't have it in your mind. It's not in your conscience. You're not oriented in the ways of warfare. You don't know what psychological warfare is. You ain't never seen it played out. You ain't never seen the U.S. military drop 500-pound bombs on a place and then drop rice. You know what I'm saying? With Pashtun, with Arabic on the leaflet saying that we your friends and we here to build schools. You don't see they separate the men from the women and tell the women, oh, you can go to school. We're gonna build a school for you after they just destroyed your whole neighborhood and killed all your family. You don't see that. You understand what I'm saying? You don't see that mind job. You see that slap and that kick in the ass and the stomp within the inch of your life. Like all that shit goes away. You forget that as soon as the flowers show up. So it's an abusive relationship with us and an abusive relationship with the world. All of that psychology that goes along with that shit. You
Yeah,
rigging
yeah,
up a 10,000 pounds worth of explosives and dropping them, and then you dropping food after.
yep. How
You
can
see what
we
I'm saying?
make
Like,
them need us? Yeah, psychological. How can we make
yeah,
them need us? And this is what we'll do to
yeah.
make that happen. Yeah,
Long
yeah.
before any troop shows up,
Mm-hmm.
when you levy sanctions on trade and embargo, you cut off access to medical supplies, and you cut off the aid. All that's left is for you to come in with the troops. It's no different than losing a dice game. You see what I'm saying? So you put them sanctions on these places. You if you go read Confessions of an Economic Hitman, destabilizing the region, and then you wait.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Destabilizing the region, then you wait. Blow up some levees, and then you wait.
Mm-hmm.
You wait for a couple of days. You wait for 7 days. This shit ain't new. Like you see this shit, and then we talking to you about it, and then when they get closer and closer and closer to your house, then you trying to fucking pay attention. It's too late. You see what I'm saying? It's too late. So this mind frame to orient you around back to who you are and your duty and responsibility to your people. That's the whole, that's the fucking process about the shit. It ain't this extra stuff. You be listening to these chumps, you know what I'm saying, that ain't killed nothing. They won't even kill a bug. They run a bee come around and they hauling ass. You understand what I'm saying? You gonna let these folks lead you into somewhere? Yeah, nah.
Well, how come everybody else understands who they give their allegiance to, but we don't? And then when we say you are a black person, your allegiance is to black people, then we're wrong. Like everybody else on the earth understands this, but we
Nobody
don't.
else on the nobody else on the earth been through what we've been through. And while it was
Right.
going on, the
So,
shit was still happening.
right.
When
So yeah.
Like when you hear shit like, oh, they came over here and they took this from the natives and all this other shit, then you start getting a bleeding heart and you forget the trail of tears that they took our ancestors with them,
Mhm.
that they owned us. You know what I'm saying? That kind of shit. Like you like, oh, well, the Spanish people, oh, they owned us too. You forgot that. You forgot what the Dominicans did to the Haitians. You forgot that.
Those are
You see what I'm
Spaniards.
saying?
Yeah.
Like all that shit rolls together. You
Spaniards.
see what I'm saying? Like all of that shit rolls together and it always comes back. If it's in you, it's going to come out. It was just a video with the motherfucker Dominican dude talking about defend your neighborhood against them. These animals, don't let them in your neighborhood. You running around trying to, be black. You Dominican, you ain't black. Kill them if they come into your neighborhood. This is what he's talking. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can't fake this shit. You can't. Like you always looking for a helping hand, and the helping hand is at the end of your damn arm. You running around trying to consort and say, "Oh, we all in this together." Yeah. How are you in this together? How are you in this together? Yeah, we're all in this together. What position do we find ourselves in? And what position do they find themselves in? You see what I'm saying? So like, shit is just retarded. Like they say retarded shit all the time.
Don't
And
get
you
me
get
started.
all of these signs, right? All of these signs, all of these things, all of it. And you still looking for a friend. You're still looking for an ally. A question is still asked, do we need white allies? What have your allies done for you? How did you get here? Your allies, they helped you out, right? They gave you a ride here, right? Huh? They kidnapped you, they stole you. This is how they helped you. Allies are supposed to help you. Yeah, they helped you out all the way to America. I was watching this shit with what's the dude named Jim Brown. He was on with the mayor or the governor or something like that. And like all of these conversations centering around this narrative, the cracker said, "I don't see black people marching for nobody else." And he was for segregation. He was for segregation. He was like, nah, I ain't for that. You know, and I could appreciate that shit exists. You know, you for separation, right? It's funny that's the funniest statement in the world. You for separation, you for segregation, keeping your blood pure, right? And you kidnapped, you raped, you robbed, you stole people from a place where they were living and brought them to another place. And then you say you wanted to be separate. Who was it? Who said that shit? What did he say?
Say that again.
Who was that? Was it Paul? That was Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney
Say
said.
it again.
He said when you was. He said when you owned us, we lived in your house.
Right. Yep.
You own us no more. You would be nowhere near us.
Right. They don't want to. Yep.
He said, "Let slavery come back tomorrow." He said, "You'll see about that." Like,
Welcome home. The N word. Welcome home. Yeah. Oh man.
Less than 300 years as a corporation or a country. How could you forget all of this history and act like none of this shit ain't exist?
Let me tell you
You
something.
got
The other people don't forget.
yeah,
Them Jews don't
yeah,
forget nothing.
right,
None of them. And people don't understand that those white people, those Europeans that came over here, were all criminals, and that's a fact.
right.
Um, and it shows in their history. It shows in their history. So that's that. And I don't even want to talk about uh, in the Caribbean and those Dominicans talk
Hmm.
about they're not black because yeah, I agree. They're not. They're Europeans. Okay.
Right.
So I take them at their word. So if they still screaming at and we got the upper hand, I'll remember that. I'm for sure remember that. You're not gonna be able to turn it around and change that. All right. So just saying to them, and I've seen a lot of this nonsense this past week as well. And what it is that this whole quote unquote movement, this Jewish white movement called Black Lives Matter is infringing. They say, they feeling like it's messing with their comfortability, and they blaming black people for this. They don't understand what's going on. For some reason, everybody thinks this is our protest, this is our movement, this is our thing that's going on, when it's clearly not. So I have yet to see anybody break this down, but that's where we're at today with this, because I'm seeing a lot of so-called I guess black people or people who look black, and they're becoming the poster boys and poster girls for white people who are not down with this white guilt type of thing that other white people are trying to make them feel. So they're saying that they're saying now that they're feeling bullied into supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, this goes back to the speech that I read from, right? Malcolm X. The one when he's talking about the house Negro, that one, if the full speech, because a lot of people don't know the full speech. You have to read the full speech. And it's saying how white people in power, the US government, will pass all these laws trying to make white people do things that they really don't want to do. Okay, and that causes problems, and this is why we can't get far with anything. But what I don't understand is it's a lot of black people talking about vote, vote, vote. Like we have legislation to this day that's supposed to um, protect black people. The Emancipation Proclamation, for one. Okay, that Lyndon B. Johnson signed, right, for Martin Luther King Jr., right, that JFK was supposed to sign. He signed it. And Martin Luther King Jr. told you the day before he died that they didn't keep their word. The law has been
Hmm.
passed. Everything's been passed. So how are you voting this year for another cracker is going to do something for black people? How? When it never has. This is called people not knowing black history. And I'm gonna leave African history out of it. I'm talking about US black history. There should be a class called US Black History so people could become informed about what's going on and what actually happened in history. Now, I was on my Roku TV, and since being black and the oppression of black people is being exploited right now, you see they're gathering up groups of movies and groups of documentaries, and I saw one. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's I saw one where there was a sister that was raped back in the day that nobody talks about, nobody knows. All of a sudden now they're showing this to everyone. So yeah, I believe there is an agenda behind it. I do believe there's an agenda behind it. I do believe that this is a voting year, a year for voting or whatever. I haven't seen this type of push before. I've never seen this before. They always say it's a racial thing. I don't think so. It seems like the Democrats are down on their luck, okay? Because what you don't see is black people saying, we're not going to give Democrats any votes anymore. We're not going to vote. And you find this in publications that are not popular. And I've been doing some research on it. and it's saying that, it says like 95% of Black people vote Democrat, whatever, but the numbers are down. Black people are not voting anymore, and or switching their votes to Republican Party. Okay, so I don't know if that has to do with some sort of divine awakening, because you had Malcolm X tell you about this particular party um, who has promised Black people things and have lied. Martin Luther King Jr. as well has spoken about this. You're seeing right now that, you're hearing a lot of people talking about Barack Obama doing nothing for Black people. It's starting to come out. Um, I really don't know what's going on, but I think that the Black vote is going to really matter this time around, and I think that's why they're going through extreme cases or whatever. People say this is a divine intervention. I really hope so. I really hope so. Um, but a divine intervention would take action, like serious action, though. And I just don't see the serious action behind it. I don't see Black people declaring like war. I don't see that. All I see is like protesting, and we're not even out there like that. I mean, in Black cities maybe, but we're not even out there like that. And are we still going out? Because I'm not even sure. Because when I look on the TV, all I see on like publications and the picture, all I'm seeing is white people battling with white people. That's what I see. So with that being said, voting will not help you Black people. It never helped. It's not going to help. There's already laws set to protect Black people that don't work. So I think we just all need to stop voting altogether. Oh, well, on the local level, our schools, the Black community, this. And I mean, we're already disenfranchised. Can it get worse? I mean, really? I mean, seriously, could it get worse? Can it get worse than what it is already? I don't think so. I really don't. So, go ahead and vote if you want to, Black people. It's just funny to me. Oh, and this other thing that I'm hearing is that if you don't support Black LGBT people, then Black lives don't matter, because there's Black LGBT people out there. So if you don't support them, how can you support Black lives? And I had to think about that for a moment. I'm like, what? I mean, whether they're gay or not, they're still Black. The sexual orientation, seriously, if you're Black, you're Black. I don't understand why you have to bring the sexual orientation into it to try to make it LGBT whatever and Black movement. That makes no sense to me. So what are they doing? They're acknowledging that Black people are not down for that LGBT, which I think is awesome. But that's what they're saying right now. Did you hear that?
Nope. I don't listen for no dumbass shit like that.
That's what's going around now. So I'm like, huh? But the person is still Black, so it don't matter.
No,
What do
they're
you
not.
mean?
No, they're not.
No, what I mean, I'm talking about
No,
when
they're not.
it comes to white people. I'm talking about when it comes to white people, when they view it, it don't matter what the hell you're doing. All they see is Black people. That's it. But from our side, we're looking at it like, yeah, we're not going to support that. I don't care what you say. This is not something that we support. And if that was the case, then we'll have more Black people coming out and not being afraid and not marrying people of the other sex and then going behind those people's back and sleeping with the same sex or whatever. I mean, if it was all good, they wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't have to live in, in secret or whatever, which we find in the Black community a lot. So, so yeah, so that's one on the table. So, but anyway, what I say to them is, I do what I want to do.
Take the rainbow and the other half of the alphabet that you got for yourself. Take your ass over there where the fuck you belong.
No, they can't have the rainbow. They can't have the bow.
They can have it. They can sure have it. Go. They took it already. They can take it.
You're right.
Take that shit. And that RBG flag that they got with the added the pink and all the rainbow. Take all that shit and go. Yeah, go. They can go over there and be over there. Don't come over here. What you doing with straight people? You chose your lifestyle. Go live it. You understand? Go live it. Don't take none of the children. Don't adopt none. Go find them other ones who identify like you. Y'all put on y'all shit and y'all go the fuck over there.
Anything that destroys the community has to go bye-bye. And that's what they don't understand. That's a weakness. It destroys. Um,
Yeah, the victimizers always coming amongst us with their shit. Like they always coming amongst us with that shit. Like get the fuck out of here. You like if you a fucking pedophile, go hang with pedophile. See how that work out for you. You know what I'm saying? You're a rapist, go hang with them rapists. You know, be somewhere, over there where we can find you when we need to. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like all that shit. Like this shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. But they want to hang around and they want you to accept them. Like you don't see how that shit is white fragility. It's only some motherfuckers who don't fuck with you or who denounce your existence want you to hold space for them. That shit is backwards. That shit is crazy. And they never, ever, ever have to defend themselves. Somebody will always defend them. And it got nothing to do with them. Oh, that's mine. No, 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 no. You gonna defend your rapist uncle too? Like, well, that's still my uncle. He's a rapist. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if it was a crackhead, like what I'm saying, we got crackheads in our family and shit. You should have said like that could be help for that. Could be help for the crackhead. But for the race trader and the one who denounced the rest of the African life, ain't nothing for them.
The race
And
trader
that's
was in that movie. Yeah, and that was his own son.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was pissed off at that part. I was like, "What?" I said, "What?
Leave it
You
to
knocked your
spook.
whole father down for a French one, a French what? A French poodle?" I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
"No."
yeah.
And it
Yeah,
happened to his squad too. I was like,
yeah,
"Really?
yeah.
You can't go to war with people like that. You can't.
No,
No allegiance, no loyalty, none. The
no. They
loyalty
got
is to
some.
the
They got some
oppressor.
loyalty to something. Yeah.
It's to the oppressor.
You saw that video that Vietnamese shot the other Vietnamese in the head point
Yes.
blank?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what happens when you
That's
collaborate.
right. There you go. Man, did I not tell you this the other day about
So
what
fuck.
Moses did in the wilderness when they was talking about they hungry and they want meat? What did they do?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, tomorrow
yeah,
we gonna have some meat. The Most High
right.
said you gonna bring some meat. And what did
Yeah,
he do? Heads came off. As soon as they put it in
that's
their
it.
mouth, the heads came off.
Right.
They had to be eliminated. So I'm sorry, that's the harsh reality of it. That's just that it is what
What,
it
what you
is.
apologizing for?
No, I'm talking about if it hurts your feelings. Like I know, like this type of thing. Like if you don't understand what
uh,
nation building is, you understand. Look, the concept of nation building. Okay, you can't nation build when you have these inconsistencies. You can't build a strong nation with these things. It has been proven, has been shown across all people how this works. Okay, we're the only ones saying it's wrong, but everybody's stronger than us. How is that possible? Right?
mhm.
You're the know it all, but we don't have anything, but everybody else has everything. So you have to
Mhm.
change your way of thinking. Okay, people say, "Oh, what's right and wrong is subjective." Yeah, it is actually.
Boom.
It is actually. Because your oppressor tells you this is wrong or whatever, this is right, you're gonna go with that? No, no, need to, you need to evaluate and figure out what's right and what's wrong. Okay, and whatever's wrong, something's wrong when it takes away or diminishes you and your people. That's how you know it's wrong. You know it's right. Your people and your community is thriving. That's how you can tell the difference.
Boom.
Yep. So uh, people need to understand that war is a part of life. It just is. Get over it.
It says
World peace. What?
from Fanon. This is the quote. I love this quote. Like this. This is the quote. He says from Fanon. It's his favorite line from Fanon. It says, "The time for talking has ended. The
That's right.
time for acting has begun."
That's right. I'm done talking. That's right. Jay-Z said that in one of his
Long,
songs.
long live the gorilla.
That's right.
Yeah, friend of foe too. Friend of foe,
Yep.
bitch.
I'm done talking. That's what he said. And I think that was on, let me see, that was on the Dynasty album. He said that.
No,
Yes. What song was it? What
it
song
was
was it?
on In My Lifetime, Volume 1. That was Friend of Foe 98, Friend of
It
Foe
was Friend of
2.
Foe, but it was also, he said it again on the Dynasty. I'm going to get it for you. I'm going to get it for you.
He said, "Boy, you know y'all fuck with a gun in your face, and that's all you could come up with." You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, yeah.
It was
There's,
from
there's
Friend
no
of Foe 2.
good and evil is subjective.
That's
Okay?
right.
It's subjective. It's,
That's,
get over it.
get
Get
over
over
it.
it. If it's something, I mean, if utter
Get
income,
over it or get under the dirt.
right, you got to go.
Get
And
over it. Yeah.
this is, you can't, the, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone.
So you like the movie? Because we was talking about the movie.
The movie, like I said, no, it got crazy after they got and that was the beginning of the movie, right? So after they dug up all the gold, and after that, it just turned into something weird.
My man was talking about Christmas Addicts, and that
Yeah,
shit
he
took
did.
me all the way back to Luke Cage, Christmas Addicts. Okay.
Yeah, the community center that Mariah wanted to open. Yeah, yeah, they talked about the first guy to die in what war was that? It was Civil War.
Revolutionary War.
Revolutionary War. He was the first. I don't think so, but that they use Crispus Attucks as the person, the face of that
Yeah.
of that
Like
thing.
they was taking notes. Oh shit. Okay, first Christmas. Let's put Christmas. I mean Christmas. What the fuck?
I don't know. I'll give that movie I'll give it a C. I'll give it a C. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what the putting the gory stuff in the beginning. Like, I don't know what they were trying to say. Uh, they didn't show, but they didn't show you the children.
Didn't they call you? Didn't they call you baby killer when you came back from war? Like they called me? Didn't they call us baby killer?
They call and I killed my own kind, which I never done.
Yeah.
They strategically do not put you with the same people of color. They don't. People, quote unquote, they say people of color. They don't. They purposely do not drop you in a place where you look like the same person. They don't do that. Just so you know. So no, I've never done that. But they didn't show those Vietnamese kids, those VC kids with assault rifles, okay, and rocket launchers. They didn't show you that. They didn't show you
grenades,
the
bomb straps to their chest.
Right. You didn't. They didn't show them now. Okay, just saying. They left that out. And if you're a casualty of war,
but they did show you with our ancestors hanging from trees, little children there, like a picnic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they did show you that on those postcards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Black bodies swinging from trees and being set on fire, and children right there smiling and laughing like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing. What do you think? Like, are you
Look,
baby killer? Yeah.
Look,
They killing your babies right now. They got a clinic for where you can go kill your baby.
I have more faith in my people than that. Let me just clear that up. I do have more faith in my people. I believe the majority of my people, if they could come from up under the subjugation, would. I feel like only the tokens are the ones who take up and
Uh-uh.
defend their oppressors. I believe the tokens are the ones, and you know who the tokens are. You know
Not
who
the
the tokens
tokens.
are. You know,
Not the tokens.
yeah, the tokens. Because there's plenty
The
of black
train
people with money
token,
who don't
the
who
bus token, the
mhm,
token.
yeah, there's plenty of black people with money who says nothing about it because they do not want to feel like or be saying or being identified as a token. So they don't play that part. But you can tell a token somewhere. You know, you can tell who they are, and those are the people who speak contrary to the success of our community. You know, oh, it can't be done. Oh, the military has bombs and nuclear warfare and blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
this and that. They've always had the
Mm-hmm.
big guns, always. But guess what? The last war that was fought on this land, we won it. Black people won. U.S. Black history. Where is it? Where is this education? Where is it?
It's not there.
Where
It's
is
not there.
it? Okay, guerrillas win wars. They showed you
Mm-hmm.
that in Vietnam, right? They showed you
In
that here in the
Somalia.
United States, black people won that last war. So I don't want to hear it. If you're too scary, if you're a scary Negro, then just say that.
Yeah.
Just say that. I'm scared. I'm afraid to fight. Guess what? Then you're a cook. We'll just put you in the kitchen. That's all. You just feed the platoon. That's what you do.
Not even feeding. Nah. Mm-mm. You might
No.
put something in the food to kill us all. Now you got to go on the volcano. You know, you got to stand up or lay under the dirt. That's it.
But I mean, if you're afraid, we have laws in Israel that say if you're afraid, then go home. Then go ahead, go home. But guess what? We're not silly to leave you alone. I mean, come on. But if you're afraid to go out to war, don't go. Stay home. Stay home.
Yeah.
But no, you're going to be
Yeah. Don't show up.
subjugated to your own people. You will.
Don't, don't show up.
You will be subjugated to your people. Okay, you will have to do something. You know. And no, we not ratchet like the white man. So when I say subjugation to your own people, that means you're indebted to your own people for your freedom and your liberation. And we will not let you forget that. Okay, so that's what I mean by that. But yeah, if you're afraid, this it's scary to say you're scary. But guess what? Legislation ain't the answer. Voting is not the answer. Joining the Congress is not the answer. Been there, done that. I think the only black person that ever did anything like any that got anything that was of any substance done was Shirley Chisholm. I will say that. I'll have that discussion with anyone who has done the most as a congressperson in the House of Representatives who's ever done anything worth anything. I will say once again Shirley Chisholm, and then she and that was black education, the improvement of black education, and that's it. And it got too hard for her. If you do research on her, you would know that she retired out of that nonsense, and she had to fall back because it was just it doesn't say. I can tell what happened with that and how the frustration out of not being able to get the things you want done, after winning and becoming a representative, for your district and not being able to make change like how you thought you would. So yeah. So don't be fooled. We already have laws out there that are supposed to be protecting black people already. Um, and it is, and I know a lot of people are probably not aware of it already, but, and that's sad. Are you frozen? I can't tell.
No, man.
Anything you want to add to that?
If you ain't ready to die, then why should you live?
The only way you get your freedom or your liberation, do okay. If you don't want to look at Black history and you don't want to look at European history, look at everybody else's history and tell me how they were able to do it. That's all, and report back to me and let me know how they done it. Was it by talking or was it by war? Which one? Show it to me. Because if you going around telling your people it's through legislation, you're lying to them and you're lying to yourself. And that's world history, okay? So, and that's what history is about. It's about violence. That's what history is about. Like, you know, I took all the histories. It's violence for the most part. It's all so.
Yep.
Oh, and in recent news, in Atlanta, another Black man was killed by some trigger happy white pig, and the mayor of Atlanta has no power. All I can do is shake my head. So yeah, we voting for what? Legislation what? Who? Powerless Black woman in one of the biggest cities in the United States. Can't do nothing. Powerless.
Yeah.
So that should wake some people up. It should. It should.
That was the one that said, "Don't open up the city back."
Right. Right. Powerless. A Black man was killed under her watch, and she can't fire the cop. She can't get him prosecuted. She can't, she can't get him indicted. She can't even the chief of police, that white poodle, she stepped down, and guess what? They're giving her a job somewhere else, and you can see it all over the mayor's face. How defeated she looked. Powerless.
Yeah, they show something about Florida taking people who got fired for misconduct, or that fraternal order of police said, "Oh yeah, come on down here, we got you."
See? There you go.
We got you.
There
But
you
that's
go.
all of them. That's just they was look like they be bold enough to say this shit in your face. You ain't gotta figure that shit out. Because they say, because you make sure that they say. Well, that's just Florida. You know the history of Florida. Don't even got to talk about racism. Just call it white behavior. You ain't got to call it racist.
You know what
Like,
it
you
is.
just call it like regular, normal white behavior. Normal. That's normal shit. That's normal behavior. Normal behavior. Okay?
And then we got silly tokens talking about how they recognize all of this, but then still say we need to go through legislation to get liberation. It's sad. It's sickening for real. Like, you don't make any sense. You recognize all of the injustice, but then want to go into a system that's unjust to try to pull out justice. It don't work. Trying to sound smart. This is so loud. But she just, I mean, I was looking at the TV like, she want to cuss everybody out. That's what it looked like. She wanted to cuss everybody, but she could. She looked so defeated. She looked embarrassed, to tell you the truth. I'm like, oh man. So what that you have a Black president? So what you have a Black mayor? So what you have a Black? Oh, I'm sorry, Black governors don't exist. So what? You have a Black congressman. So what?
Yep.
What about a Black war general? Oh, I'm sorry. That's Colin Powell, who's just. I mean, that guy has no allegiance to nothing. That guy been on TV acting a fool all week. Um, he can't be trusted. That's number one. He can't be trusted. Sad. It's sad to say, but he can't be trusted. Uh, but yeah, yeah. The system is not ours. It's not for us. We had no hand in setting it up. Therefore, we have no hand in changing it. We cannot change it. It's not ours. And besides, we're not citizens of the United States of America by law.
By law.
By law. So yeah, anybody who's saying anything different, no. Because if that was the truth, they would change that in the Constitution. They haven't. They haven't even amended anything like that. So I mean, you know, the words speak for itself. And you can say whatever it is that you want, but the proof is in the pudding. We're not gonna go by what you say. We read it. It's in there.
The devil is
Oh,
not welcome
and
here.
the two brothers that were hanging in California, 50 miles apart, on the same day. That thing I heard about. They saying it was suicides.
Just somebody,
Yeah, I don't know.
pregnant woman in South Africa hung and stabbed up and killed.
South Africa. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Known devils out there calling themselves South Africans.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I say, being woke means nothing. Knowing means more. Knowing comes, knowledge. No, yeah. Woke mean nothing if you
Nothing.
don't know what you're talking about. Oh, the Sandra Bland documentary. They gather all of the documentaries up and put it all in one black. They call it a Black Lives Matter. Blah blah. I
Yeah.
can't stand Black Lives Matter. I can't.
Here you go, niggas. This is what you want. Okay,
Right.
we have.
All this money.
We care about your money. Okay.
All this money.
Oh,
These corporations are
The
donating.
the microphone. Oh, the microphone was on. Did they hear us?
The funny part of all this is that there's a bunch of white people bullying other white people into donating money to Black Lives Matter. They're bullying them. Oh, and then you have them coming back. See, now it's about to get nasty. I'm waiting for it to break. You will not bully me into white guilt. It ain't happening. It's starting already. I said, there it is. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for it. But they don't understand that those are tax write-offs. And then they're putting the money into the hands of the white man. Black Lives Matter, white organization.
that's old.
So once again, they profit off of us, the most famous on the earth. We're the most famous people on the earth. I kid you not. You go anywhere and ask people who are the slaves on the earth, they'll tell you who. We mentioned first. And the brother said nobody has been through the treatment we've been through, and that's a fact. That's my mom's husband, right? It's a fact. It's a fact. I don't let people get away with that nonsense. European slaves, get out of here. Those are criminals. That was their own people. That was the problems they was having with their own people. Don't get it twisted, okay? And once again, Spain is in Europe, okay, people? Spain and Portugal is in Europe. not gonna tell you about the fight I got into yesterday, but I'll save that for another time. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a little piece of it. Just let me tell you who was involved: the Haitians down the street and me.
Mm.
Yeah, because they don't know U.S. Black history either. Okay, so yes, I got into it with them, and then of course they apologized to me after I schooled them. Yeah, after I showed it to them. Yeah, after I showed it to them, because ain't no punks over here. Okay, Black people are not docile people. Okay, maybe the ones you know. The Europeans said, "Oh, when we got there, those Africans they were peaceful and they had high morals and they were this and they were that or whatever." Let me tell you something. They told you that after they got on the land and started pillaging and killing, okay? Because even on the coast, on the water, they was being dealt with. They don't tell you that part of the history.
Not at all.
They don't tell you that. As they were approaching the coast, I will give it 100 miles. They would have been dealt with in the sea. Okay? So I'm sure a lot of them were lost out to sea. A lot of whiteys were lost out to sea, but they don't tell you that.
Alton Sterling's birthday is today.
Somalians deal with United States ships 100 miles off the coast of Africa, all coasts. Off the east coast of Africa. And then you have West Africans that do it on the west coast of Africa, even in South Africa. I don't know what people think this is, but I'm highly offended. We ain't just make no pottery and baskets and stuff, okay? And bracelets, okay? Get out of here. Like, please, give me a break. Oh my God. Intelligence comes from Africa. Intelligence comes from Africa. So we're gonna remember that. We voluntarily taught them how to do stuff. Get out of here. No, we didn't.
This is funny.
The biggest lie ever told. They said Jesus was the biggest lie ever told. No, that's the biggest lie ever told.
They show you North Africans in Europe teaching Europeans how to bathe and read and write.
They couldn't take the smell. Yeah, go ahead.
This is what look.
Yeah.
Then they show you Europeans kidnapping Africans and taking them to America, and then all of a sudden they couldn't read and write.
Right.
They couldn't read and write.
Right.
I don't know. But it jives well with the psychology of a slave mentality. Because they can come back and see, all of them wasn't like that. See, look, I'm going to break it down for you because I study this. Look, this is when they want to start talking the bullshit, this is how they start. I'm going to break it down for you because I've studied this. I've read, I've researched. You reading? Okay. Reading.
Reading what? Like,
let's hear this. Let's hear this out. See these Quakers.
Oh God.
These Quakers was teaching us how to read and write. Okay? And the Quakers were letting us stay in their homes, okay? On the Underground Railroad. Okay? They start talking that shit, okay? And William Garrison Lloyd and John Brown, okay? They was Quakers. They start talking all of this shit. Oh man. They start talking all of this shit and say fuck every last one of these Africans that was fighting and killing and risking their life to liberate African people. Fuck them, huh? Fuck them. They got all the way to Canada from Virginia and some of these other places. They got all the way to Canada. And just like now, with all of these situations, you out there risking your life and cats is out here fighting and dying and liberating. And who paints the narrative? Who paints the picture? Who's seen in the pictures? All on purpose. All on purpose. For the history books to look at this time period and not see us. They showed the movie When They See Us, and everybody was crying and all this other shit. When they see us, what happens? It shows you what happens when they see us. You see what I'm saying? Like, so they want to see you going to the penitentiary or to the graveyard. That's what happens. No men involved. The one man in the movie acting like a sucker turned his own son in, let his son. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these narratives being painted into your subconscious mind. Into your subconscious mind. Like, what's it, the little rat bastard? What's his name? Jordan Peele. He told the guy from the played on the Star Wars, the African dude, we got you. We're not going to let you get blackballed. Who got you? Who got you? You see what I'm saying? Like, they play these games all the time. Who has you? Who said it's okay for you to come over here and be serious? You are a clown and a devil. What are you doing over here? What are you saying? What qualifies you to come over here and say, we got you over here? You know what I'm saying? This is how easy it is. It's just that easy. You just let anybody speak for you. You let anybody represent you / misrepresent you. Anybody other than somebody who looks like you. Somebody who is you. Somebody you ain't gotta like. He might or she might. I think they could pass. All that old stupid shit you got to try to figure out. All of that. Because we over here cruising and shit. We still cruising, Sass. We still cruising from the other night. Cruising around out in the way to cruise and say, we need to work together. And you don't feel comfortable with none of our enemies around to help us plan their demise. Like your enemies is just gonna be coming to the meeting and be like, yeah, we're gonna overthrow these motherfuckers. Well, we need their help. Okay? Back to that ally shit. You about to say something?
No, I just wanted to put out some information.
Put out that info.
Information that everybody should know. The access point. This is really short. The access points into all nations and where they are. That little place where they call State of Israel, there's one access point to all nations. And the other one is North Korea. Those are the access points into all nations. So there's a significance as to why spotlight is on State of Israel, Canaan, Jews, and things like that, and North Korea, because there's Russia and China, right? Access points to get inside. So I think people need to study military history as well. because I don't think you get it in world history. I don't remember learning that in world history. So it's like kind of like independent study, military history. There's a whole section in the library on it. Um, you know, so yeah. And this is how you conquer um, nations. So yeah, yep. And that's all I wanted to say. It's simple. There are no allies. I'm just going to say that. There are no allies.
Tell me.
There are none. There's only some people out there to help you get the job done, but then they'll backstab you. I mean, if you know history, you can figure that out for yourself. White history. Look at white history, because that's what they teach. Even look at that, and you'll see it. It is what it is. But Vietnam War, we didn't win. Korean War, we didn't win. So yeah, and I think we had nukes then, right? We had nukes and bombs and all kind of stuff back then too, right?
Yep.
And we lost. We lost as far as like the country is concerned, not my people. We had nothing to do with that. But I'm talking about the United States of America lost. So that goes to show you as well. And then we just need to use common sense, and start using the old noggin before you start making statements. Kwame Ture, right? If he was nothing, the government would have nothing to worry about. J. Edgar Hoover would have nothing to worry about. He wouldn't put as much energy into what he was doing to destroy that whole movement. And back then there were nukes.
Nukes.
So those are excuses. So if you're scary, just say you scared. That's all. It's okay. It's okay. Anyhow. Yeah, anywho. I'm gonna keep my eye on this Atlanta situation because sister girl is having some issues. Sister girl is having issues. I'm just curious, what she's gonna say next week. I mean, this coming week, because people gonna want answers and people gonna want action, and she ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it. It's gonna make her look bad. I feel bad for her. But it is what it is, right? The mayor is supposed to be able to fire everybody.
Fire everybody.
Yep, they're supposed to be able to fire everybody. She fired nobody. She said that officer is on administrative leave. She didn't say I put him on administrative leave. She didn't say that. And she didn't say the police chief was told, I told the police chief to step down. Nope, she didn't say that. Oh, she voluntarily stepped down and she will be placed into a new position somewhere else in the town. I said, goodness. Wow, okay. I was like, damn.
She's gonna be the mayor.
Yeah, she the mayor. Yeah, she's
gonna
gonna
be the mayor.
Right, there you go. So I was like, oh man, okay. All right. So yeah, vote, black people,
Get
vote.
Out the way.
Yeah,
Get
vote.
Out the way. Vote or die.
Interracial marriage was passed 53 years ago, 1967. That right there, man. Low blow. Low blow. That was a cherry on top of cake. And then what came out today, I was watching a sister's video today, and there's that now this whole thing is blasphemous. Okay, the actress from the TV show Mixed-ish. Mixed-ish. Blackish wasn't enough, but Mixed-ish came out. It's a spinoff, right? Um,
Mhm.
she's with a white guy. She said something about if you're in an interracial relationship and that person is not fighting for you, the person you're with not fighting for you, you have a big problem on your hands. This is what she said. Now the conversation is coming out that these white counterparts, your white partners, they ain't trying to hear about all this black nonsense. Like they don't want to hear this. That white people did this, white people, a lot of interracial couples having problems apparently. As if you didn't know who you were getting in with. You know, you probably didn't know, but just know that she just said it. You didn't know before, and I get it. A lot of people don't know until, something happens and then this whole issue comes up. Because what you're not going to do is belittle their ancestors. You're not going to do it. Why? Because they love their parents, they love their grandparents, they love their great grandparents. Okay? That love is there. It's nothing that you can say or do because you're their partner. They're going to come side with you. No, that's rare. That's rare.
Yeah.
Now
No
you see,
way.
and then I was talking to
No way, nigger.
right. I was talking to a sister today. I said, now Meghan Markle. Now, granted, she mixed, okay, but that royal family sees us as a Negro, right? Sees her as a Negro. She got up out of that family quick and took the grandson. See, he didn't come to his senses yet. We're gonna see how long it take for him to go back, get up, and move up back into England. Okay, he living in L.A. with black mom-in-law, and that's out of his element. He don't belong there. We're gonna see how long that lasts. So there you go. It's not natural. I don't care what nobody says. It's not natural. But
That's 2 hours.
interracial marriage is good. It's accepted. If you have to pass a law on something, that means that it's no. That means it's not. You know what I'm saying? That's not. We're not. You shouldn't even be dealing with that. If you have to go pass a whole law to make something okay, no, it just don't work because it didn't work in the royal family. They understood.
They had to pass a law against incest.
Oh my God! Didn't they say it was okay in certain states? I think it's okay now in certain
Yeah.
states. Yeah.
Incest and fucking animals and all
Yeah,
this
and
other shit.
marrying animals. Yeah, and now the pedophiles are trying to get legislation. Yeah. Yeah. So interracial marriage is good too. Yeah. 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 Make it easy for yourself. Get in the mirror, look in the mirror, and marry somebody that look like you. That just makes things easier. Okay.
If your mind is correct. And if you love your enemy more than yourself, take your ass on over there and see how they treat you. No more destroying black families with your bullshit.
And like I said before, a lot of these people out here talking about black people got the audacity to tell us what to do and what they not going to do. Because for like the past 3 weeks, we've been telling white people everything. We've been like, we have had no filter. And I've noticed, especially on social media, like we have no filter. And I've been saying this before this whole thing started, that what we say goes. I said that. We're going to do it our way, and that's that. If we look at you and we can't identify who you are, we're going to ask questions, we're going to investigate, we're going to see where your head at. If it ain't black, no, you can't. This is not, you're not accepted. And I like this type of thing. I like this because you're seeing it across the board. Like, this is amazing. Like, I'm enjoying this part of this whole thing. Okay. So, it's like black people are like, did you put up that black square? How come it's not on your Instagram page? Are you racist? What took you so long? You know what I'm like? What took you so long? I was like, oh man, I love this. I love it. Black people checking white people, okay, and hitting them where it hurts. And when that happens, and everybody is bad mouthing people, all these influencers, all these corporations, these companies, these small businesses making killing off of black people, they all under fire. And they losing at this moment because we're telling them what to do. Now, when I was saying this before, it was like, Sash, no, she's weird, she's crazy. No, she don't get to tell us, tell me who is black and who isn't or whatever. Guess what? We doing it now. Okay, we've been doing it for the past 3 weeks. Okay, but when I was doing it before, I was being looked at as crazy. Nope. Look, when people look at me, you see Africa. People tell me, oh, well, what country are you from? This leads me to believe that Africa ain't that far back. It's not. And I look at my great grandmothers, it's not. Okay. So just saying. And my great grandfathers, I'll put it to you like that. It's very close. I'm very close to that continent. Oh yes. So cut it out. So if you walking around here with European features and you light skinned, we have to, hey, what happened? What's going on here or whatever? And if your spirit ain't right, people say, oh, you can't go by spirit. Oh yeah, you can. Yes, you can. You can absolutely do it, because when you do a search for, I guess, Africans in Africa, whatever, you see different features. You see a lot of different things, but then you also have to know history about colonization and things like that, and seeing, But then what you do is you go back to the artifacts, right? You go back to the archaeology and look at those and see how they depicted themselves. And this is why I spent a lot of time at the African Museum when I go to DC. I spend a lot of time there. I don't spend a lot of time in the African American one. I haven't even touched it yet, but it is what it is. But that's where I go, because that's where you get to see what is what, and from different parts, so you know exactly what's going on. So nobody mistakes me for anything. No. When they look at me, they see black, and that's that. So big up to all the brothers and sisters in the black community, everybody who is telling white folks and everybody else what to do. Shout out to y'all.
Shout out.
Did you notice that? I noticed it. Black people are not having it right now. We checking the mixies too. We checking them because they out of pocket. They acting a fool right now, talking about black people are looting and destroying and stuff like that. The white man been doing that and has been doing it for centuries. What are you talking about? As long as we've known them, they've been savages. What are you talking about? We go and tear down a Target, so what? It's ridiculous. We're so critical of ourselves. It's like, that's another part of that came out of slavery, right? That's another thing. We learn to blame ourselves because we have to come out and be a certain way and act a certain way around them in order to fit in or to be accepted by them. Those days are over. Are you there?
Are you there?
Oh, and then one last thing before we go. Starbucks. You know what, black people? Y'all need to leave Starbucks alone. Look, Starbucks has a uniform, okay? Employees can't just be going to work wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirt, okay? And think it's okay, all right?
Exactly.
Starbucks banned the wearing of, yeah, that's okay, black people. Calm down. See how we do, we getting out of hand, but I like it though. I like it. But come on, they have a uniform and they've been had a uniform. Stop. So now we boycotting Starbucks. I had to laugh at that one. That was hilarious. Because we on a roll right now, and we're going to try to keep this thing going as long as we can. I'm all for it. And don't forget to turn your camera phones on and record these crackers. Do it. They're afraid right now. They're shaking their boots. They don't want that type of heat. Okay? And that's all I got to say about that. Black people, stop it with the Starbucks.
Starbucks.
I just found that funny. That was just hilarious. I mean, the events that's been going on this week is all in my favor. It's all, I mean, everything that I've said, it's like, the Most High is the Most High, man. Talk about speaking things into existence. That's what I've done. And I'm not taking credit for it. All praises to the Most High, What we say goes, damn it. Interracial marriages are on fire right now. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, as they should be. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Well, we out of here. We are done. We gave y'all 2 hours of something to think about. Ain't nobody tune in and tell us how they like that raggedy ass movie, or maybe they ain't even watch it. Maybe they thought it was a gang movie. Sass, do you have anything to say before we leave out of here?
Only thing I have to say is, Mookie, stay black. And and Black Power, and fight the power, and I denounce Black Lives Matter. I hate it. It's not our movement. It's not our nothing. That's it. Shalom.